to speak with you. First of all, I wanted to ask you, as the president of the Walt Disney Animation Studios, how important for you is to create a movie like Encanto that focuses on a Latin family and Latin culture, and how important is it for you to show more different kind of ethnicities and sexual orientations in your movies?
You know, I think it's important that we reflect in our films, the people who are coming to our films. And so representation is very important. And what excited me about this film from the beginning was when Jared Bush and Byron Howard and Lin-Manuel Miranda came together and said they wanted to set a story in Latin America and do a musical that was in Latin America, because we've never done that at Disney Animation before. And that I thought was really, really exciting. But then what you have to do is figure out, what is that story going to be about? And ultimately we said it needs to be about family, and that would fit perfectly within a story that's set in Latin America. And then we decided to set that story within Colombia, and that influences the music and the dance and the geography of what you're creating and putting on screen. So sometimes it just organically happens, but I think it's an important thing. We as filmmakers have opportunities to share stories of the world from people who come from that world. And we built an incredible Colombian trust to go on this journey with us to allow us to create, hopefully, an authentic story set in Colombia.
Okay, and talking about different ethnicities, titling the movie Encanto in a Spanish name, many people around the world don't know its meaning. What made you decide over this title, and was it a little bit frightening by the people who not know the meaning of it?
When it comes to figuring out what to title a film, we're always trying to figure out what is something that can be universal. And when I say that, sometimes that means that the word can mean nothing, right? That it's okay that it just be a word that people, eventually associate with the story. So when we thought about Encanto, and it's a Spanish word that means charmed, it felt right to us because when we were down in Colombia on our research trip, we discovered and were taken to these places called encantos, these places that are full of magic and wonder, where people say spirituality exists. And they're all over Latin America, but there's many in Colombia itself. And so those two things felt to us like they finally came together, which is it's a word that is Spanish that means charmed. It fits the film from that standpoint. They talk about encantos within Colombia, but it also could be something that is just magical as a word for audiences who don't necessarily know that. So it can play on both levels. And I've always loved that aspect of it, that it doesn't have to be literal, that you can, that you can put something out there and let people discover what does it mean in the language of its origin.
You have won Oscar for the great movies of Zootopoulos. Do you have an Oscar expectation about Encanto?
I'm so honored to have won that award for Zootopia. My whole life I watched the Academy Awards, so to think that I was actually nominated and won one is kind of a dream come true. You never embark on a film for that side of it. You always embark on a film because there's a story there that you really want to be a part of creating, and that's what made me want to do this film, especially the fact that it's a musical. I've been at Disney Animation for 30 years, and I've had the opportunity to produce 5 feature films at Disney Animation, but never a musical. And this is my 6th film, and I finally got to do a musical. You hope that once you're finished with it, it goes out into the world, and the world falls in love with these characters and the story that you created. And if that leads to something else, that's really icing on the cake. But that's not the reason I got into this. I got into it because, my grandparents owned a movie theater, and I would sit on my grandmother's lap and watch these movies unfold on the big screen. And to me, it's that I love. It's the building a story that someone's going to go see in a theater that one day might influence them to say they want to be a part of the film or television industry because they had that experience, because that experience is what made me want to be part of Disney Animation.
And talking about watching the films as a child on the big screen, as the head of animation in Disney, how do you see the future of Disney? On the big screen mainly, or more channeling the movies simultaneously to Disney Plus and streaming channels?
I think that people will always find where's the right place for them to go see a film. But for me, the cinema is a communal experience. It's where people come together and something is funnier because you're in a room together. Something's more emotional because you're feeling the emotion of others around you. Something's more dramatic because you're feeling the tension within the room. And I've always loved that aspect of it. Not only do you get to see it on the big screen, but you're feeling other people's feelings in the film. And it just kind of, exponentially increases the experience. So I feel like people are always going to go to the theater. There were days where people said television was going to be the end of movies, or that the VHS or DVDs was going to be the end of movies. And I don't think that's true. I think people will always want to go to the theater. That doesn't mean people won't also see things that come on their television through streaming, but probably what that means is more people are going to see what you created. In the end, that is kind of a great thing.
Okay, so I feel the same as a movie lover, and they told me that we need to wrap it up. So thanks a lot for this interview, and have good luck with the movie.
Thank you so much. So nice to meet you, Lon.